All right, y'all. It's Big Bro back here once again. So when I make my videos and I'm working out, some people they be like, "Dang, like man, you been to the penitentiary?" And some people they inquire about the bullet wounds that you see. So my homeboy he was telling me, he's like, "Man, why don't you just sit up there and explain what happened?" So I'm gonna let you know. And FYI, I never been to the penitentiary. I got locked up before, but I never been to the penitentiary. For everybody out there that's stereotyping me, man, I stayed out of trouble, all right? But anyway, so this was back when I was 16 years old. I'm 38 right now. So this is 5/7/04 is the day it happened. As you can see, I got the bullet holes with the heart right there. So this is what happened. So 2004, and let me speed up. So earlier that week, it was a beef going on. And mind you, I got the backstory after everything had happened, but I'm gonna give it to you first. So it was a beef up at Randallstown High School in Baltimore County where it was two dudes, they was beefing over this girl. They ended up getting into a verbal disagreement at the lunchroom, and the one dude who I believe he was a football player, he told the other dude who was he was supposed to have been a gangster, dude Matt. He told him that he was a bitch. And basically words was, I wasn't there, but this is, like I said, this is the backstory. But words was said, and to make a long story short, the dude Matt said, "All right, well, yeah, I'm a bitch, I'm gonna kill you." So speed it up. The football player dude, which I believe his name was Marquise, he ended up getting flown out of town. He dipped off. He didn't even come back to school anymore. He took it extremely serious. His father did. Matter of fact, I don't know how he took it, but I know his parents, they took it serious. And matter of fact, he must have took it serious too because he let his parents know. But anyway, so speed it up. This was Friday, May 7th, '04. So we had a basketball game, and this was where I believe we was the kids they was playing against like the teachers or something like that. It wasn't real big, but it was something that really just the school we was having our own like little basketball game. So I'm chilling. It's me, my girl at the time. We chilling. Just got finished blowing some tree. We chilling in the stadium. Then we leave out. I'm chilling on the bleachers. I'm not the bleachers. It's a brick wall. Me, my homeboy Lundy, and it was like two other dudes, but mainly it was me and my right hand homeboy Lundy. And you know he always got a whole bunch of friends with him, so he had like two other dudes. Oh my gosh, I wish I remember their name, but I know it was like four of us sitting on the brick wall, and we over there chilling. My girl she dipped off and went somewhere else, so it's like 100, maybe it's probably like 75 kids out there. We all out there chilling, and there's a parking lot where everybody's parking at. So you got the parking lot, sidewalk, and then you can go up the steps. When you go up the steps, you go to the right. That's where I'm sitting at with my three homeboys. Sitting right there. We sitting there looking down at everybody. Everybody's walking around talking. So that's when we see a black Beamer come up. Black Beamer comes up. You see four dudes get out. They get out the car, and I'm looking, and they start walking up, and you know they kind of like real aggressive. They walking up to people. So that's when my homeboy he like, "Yo, look." The dude he walks up to one of my homeboys, which I didn't expect him to. He's somebody that done back down. But they walk up to him, and all I see is yada, bow, and punched him. He took the punch and ran off. And I'm thinking like, oh, wait until I see him in class. I'm a joker. So he runs off. Then one of the other dudes, they walk up to this big tall dude. Dang, I really don't want to say his name, but I'm gonna just call him Jay. This big tall dude named Jay, big swole dude. They walked up to him, and the dude, little short dude, mushed him. He mushed him, and he just and was like, all right. So I'm thinking like, damn, like why, like like dudes is just getting carried like left and right. And so that's when the 4 dudes, they walked over to the crowd where my first homeboy, where he ran towards. He ran into the crowd. That's where the football players was at. That's where like the rest of the school was at. That's where everybody was chilling was at. And they were standing there like what's up? Like what's going on? So the 4 dudes, they walked into the crowd and they just start swinging on people. Dudes is backing up, they swinging on them. And that's when my homeboy London, he like, man, fuck it, let's just go, yo. And he just like, come on. So I'm like, damn, took my bag off, ran over there, go straight into the crowd. Running towards the crowd. This light-skinned dude, which I think was the dude Matt. But I was so young and I was just filled up with so much adrenaline. I ran towards the crowd and it was just so many people. I ran towards the crowd and the first dude, he just like looked at me like, look, what's up? And I just started plucking him. He gets plucked and he dips off into the crowd and he yells out a name. He like, yo, and he runs. I turn and look to my right. When he said, yo, he runs towards that black car that I was talking about. That black car is also where I see this tall dude getting beat up and I see my homeboy Lundy right there punching him along with this other dude, I'm gonna call him A, but he's one of the biggest dudes in Randallstown at the time, and he's a big swole football player. I'm gonna just call him A. In 2004, if you hear this, people know who I'm talking about, Big A. But he was up there giving the dude uppercuts, banging the dude, and the dude, his shirt is all ripped up, and he's backing up towards the car. So I walk over there, and I'm backing my homeboy Lundy up. So I walk over there, and as they beating him up on the car, I get over there, and I can't even like really get like a punch in. But I'm trying. Mind you, I'm 16 years old at the time. I know, ignorance. So we up there, we up there punching him, and he starts balling up like this. So that's when on the other side of the car, I see a real big fat dude with shoulders. He leans down and he's creeping towards the trunk of the car. He creeps towards the trunk of the car and I meet him at the trunk of the car. I was like, okay. I walked around, met him at the trunk of the car, and I was like, man, what's up? You know, back in the day, we pull our pants up. So I'm like, what's up? And so that's when all I seen was this. Bah, 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 bah. I didn't even see his face. I ain't see nothing. All I seen was him go like this. That big ass shoulder, and this, and he had a black tee on. All I seen was, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, and he's like, as close as I am to this camera to you. It was just like that. And so when he shot, I didn't feel nothing, but I just turned like this and started running. I turned like this, bumped into my homeboy Lundy. He was so goddamn scared, he almost pushed my little ass on the ground. He went like that. He like, damn, like get out the way. So when I turned, he pushed me and I started stumbling. So I'm stumbling. That's when I felt this shot right here. This shot. You can see it right there. I felt that shot right there. And I seen like a ricochet hit the curve. Like, it went like, and I'm thinking like, oh, he's still shooting at me. Because I'm thinking in my mind like, oh, I was like, on phone, I was like, man, I might as well just hit the ground. Because I just kept hearing gunshot. It was just bah, 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 bah. It just constantly kept going. Little do I know that he wasn't the only person that was shooting. He was the first person that started shooting. But then after that, everybody else, I guess they got the courage and they started upping their guns and they just started letting off rounds at the same time. So anyway, I hear nothing but gunshots. Ears is ringing. All I can hear is gunshots. I see the ricochet. I feel like a little, it feels like when it hits you, it felt almost like it almost felt like when you hear the gunshot, it startles you. And it just felt like somebody like took a pencil and jabbed me real hard with the eraser. You know what I mean? Just, with the eraser. So it was just like, ooh. So I was thinking like, oh shit. I was thinking like, oh, like I must have got hit. But I was thinking like, I ain't get hit, but I must have. but I didn't. But did I? I was skeptical. But I was thinking like maybe you should just lay on the ground and cover like this. But then I was thinking like, nah, because what if I kept hearing gunshots? I was thinking like, what if he come over to me and he just start finishing me off? So I was like, well, I instantly thought I had to think about all this in the matter of like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? It was quick. It seemed like a long time, but it was like 2 seconds. I was thinking like, dang, fall, no, he's gonna have to put you down. So I was just thinking like, man, he just gonna have to put me down. God forbid. Yeah, hopefully he don't. But he just gonna have to lay me down. So I ended up stumbling. My right hand hit the curb and I just got up and I started running. I still hear the gunshot. Pow, 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 pow. I see all the kids, they running, everybody scattered, everybody running. So I'm running up the side of the school and I see my homeboy Lundy, he running across, he ran towards the grass and then he's running back towards the school. So I see him running and that's when I'm running. And I think it's crazy because I think that I'm running like this, but then I look down and my arm is dangling like this. And I was looking like, oh, I was like, I really did get shot. I was like, damn. So that's when I grabbed my arm and I was like, oh. So that's when I'm thinking like, oh, fuck. Like this is crazy. I'm thinking like, yo, I bet, because I ain't gonna lie, like growing up in Baltimore, I always thought like, damn, one of these days I'm gonna get shot. All my, damn near, all my cousins then got shot. You know what I mean? If some people in my family, if they ain't been shot, they were shooting at people. So I was just thinking like, man, one of these days I'm probably gonna get shot. I'm listening to Tupac. He's my favorite rapper. You know what I mean? All these people on my back. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, some of these people got shot. So I'm thinking like, man, one of these days I'm gonna get shot. You know what I mean? I just thought it just came with growing up as a black man, you know what I mean, in the ghetto. So so that's when I got shot. I'm thinking like, oh, fuck. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like I just got shot. And so I'm running up the side. So that's when there's a bunch of kids, they just pile up on the side door. As they piling up on the side door, they are struggling to get in. That's when the door just burst open. I'm sitting up there, I'm behind everybody. I'm waiting. I'm just thinking like, fuck. I'm thinking like, damn. Like, damn, fucking arm don't work right now. But for some reason, I felt confident that it was going to get back right. So I really didn't even panic. But, and plus I wasn't like out of breath. I wasn't coughing up blood. So I kind of was cool. But I was just thinking like, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe I got shot. So that's when everybody, they going inside the school. As they going inside the school, they bushing. Some people, they fall. And that's when my homeboy London, he like, yo, everybody good? Everybody good? Everybody good? And he just checking everybody like, hey, yo, who good? Who good? Everybody good? That's crazy. They was shooting. Everybody was like, man, they was shooting out there like everybody. Like, I don't know if anybody got hit. So I'm up there. I'm walking in behind everybody with my arm. I'm like, oh, shit. And that's when my homie come up to me. He like, yo, you good? You good? What's going on with you? So that's when I was like, yo. I'm like, man, I got shot, man. He like, you got shot? He's like, for real? I was like, yes. Like, he fucking shot me, bucked me. And that's when he was like, yo, oh. So that's when he started going crazy. And that's when he laid me down on the ground. No, I didn't get laid down on the ground. He put me up against the lockers. And I just sat down because I still was kind of tired from all that running, all that fighting. And then plus I just got shot. So I'm kind of just sitting down. I'm like, damn. So I didn't know that I had all these other gunshot wounds too. So I'm just thinking it's my arm. So I'm like, dang. So I'm sitting on the ground, leaned up against the lockers, and I'm gonna stop calling him my homie because we really call each other brothers. And in my mind, I'm about to call him my brother. So just let me call him my brother. But you know what I mean? That's really my homie ever since we was in kindergarten. But so then my brother Lundy, he like, yo, like he going off and he start crying and stuff like that. So that's when everybody like, oh man, they just shot Dre. They shot Dre. And so I'm sitting there and that's when, dang, what happened? So that's when they came over. No, I'm sitting there, and for some reason the cops came quick as a mug. Like medics came there, like they just came like that quick. They just came in there and was like, hey, they was like, where's everybody? Like he's right there. So that's when they grabbed me and they laid me on the ground. This was back when we had them authentic jerseys, 2004. People know about the authentic jerseys. I had a fresh, authentic Eric Dickerson St. Louis Rams jersey. You know what I mean? That joint was fresh. The all blue with the yellow. You can Google it. That joint was like $375. So first thing they do is get out the scissors and they start cutting. So I'm like, whoa. I'm like, oh, don't cut the jersey. I was like, I tried to get one. I was like, I'll take it off. I'll take it off. They was like, nah, don't take it off. Don't take it off. We got it. They was like, we're just gonna cut it. So I'm like, man, I ain't even about to argue with these people. I'm like, man, go ahead, y'all. Just go ahead. So they take the shirt off. They take my jersey off, take it off. They cut my beat up and take my beat off. First thing I see, I look down. I'm like, damn. Like if you can see how big this hole is right here. This hole, when it happened, that joint was looking like a vagina. Like that joint was huge. It was open. It like I got hit with a shotgun. But really it was the bullet going to the side. I think the dude got me. The dude got me when I was turning and he shot me right here and it went through that arm. You know what I mean? So the joint was huge. So I'm looking down in there, all I seen was just straight red, the blood. Then I just seen the white meat. And then I just seen a black hole. Like I can look down in my chest and just see darkness. You know what I mean? So that was kind of freaky. So I'm like, damn. I was like, I got shot there. So I'm just laying there, I'm looking like, oh my God. So that's when they talking amongst themselves. My brother, he hitting lockers. You know, everybody, they trying to calm him down. And so that's when they up there asking me, they like, hey, you okay? You okay? Like, what's your name? And I'm telling them my name. They like, where you live? I'm telling them where I live. They like, what's your name? I'm like, God damn, I tell them my name. They like, where you live? How old are you? What's your name? I'm looking like, all right, well, you know what? I'm about to just close my eyes because I was tired anyway. But that's when they like, oh, they're like, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. And that's when I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like, what? And that's what everybody thinking, like, oh my gosh, they like, oh my gosh, he about to die. And at this point, the bullet hole in my back is starting to, the blood from that is starting to, matter of fact, no, the jersey that I was laying on, because they cut it up and the jersey was I was still laying on it. So that joint was like soaked with the blood coming from my back. And I'm thinking my arm, I ain't gonna lie, this wasn't bleeding that bad. But I think the bullet hole in my back was the one that was bleeding so much to where the jersey was soaked with blood. And so that's when that joint was soaked. And I'm laying there and it was just like mad blood. And so that's when they start taking my drawers off and stuff, man. They cut my drawers up and then I'm on the extra soft and all the girls is looking, pause. But all the girls is up there looking, I'm looking like, oh my gosh, like cover me up. So they covered me up with my drawers, put my drawers over top. And then they put me on the yellow stretcher, picked me up, and they taking me out the side of the school. Taking me out the side of the school, you know, me being young, everybody crying and they thinking like, man, oh, sorry. As they working on me, I started to hear the walkie-talkies where they was like, we got another one. We got another one in the lobby, and we got another one that shot out in the front out in the front parking lot. And I'm just thinking like, damn, like everybody was like, whoa, like it's more people that was shot. You know what I mean? That was wild. So they rushing me out the side and I'm going down the side of the building. You know what I mean? People crying, people just looking. You know what I mean? They put me in the ambulance. As soon as I get in the ambulance, I see my grandma. My grandmother, she trying to get inside the ambulance. And that's when they telling her like, no, man, like, you know, we about to take him and rush him. You know, we're going to take him and put him in the helicopter. So they took me out the ambulance and then rushed me to the helicopter and they flew me and they picked me up as I'm on the helicopter. You know, I'm trying to give y'all a visual. So I'm on the helicopter and I'm looking down at the school, looking down at all the people, you know, them just getting further and further. I'm looking like, damn. I'm thinking like this shit is cool, you know what I mean? Because I'm on the helicopter for the first time. So I'm thinking like, damn, you know what I mean? This shit y'all tough. But at the same time, I really felt like I was gonna be okay because at the same time, I wasn't like coughing up blood or anything. But they fly me over to Maryland University and I get over there, they land me on the roof. I get to the roof and they got like this one, it was like an elevator on the roof. Rushed me, took me out the chopper, rush me towards the elevator. I get to the elevator. I'm in there. They just standing around. They just talking. They like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And that's when we get down into the emergency part of the room. I ain't gonna lie. In Baltimore, Maryland University, it was packed in there with people that was almost on the brink of death. I was in there. They get me in there, and as soon as I was in they put me. They rushed me in a room, and in the room, it was a lady in there she was at a desk. No, it wasn't a lady, but it was doctors that was at a desk, but it was other doctors that was just running around, and it was just people scattered all around the sides of the room behind curtains. Everybody had like their own curtains. Some people had their curtains open, and they was just, you got people in there yelling. You got some people in there just laying down bleeding. You got blood everywhere. The doctors got blood on them. You got people rushing to go over here, rushing to go over there. So they put me in my own little corner, and and they just kind of like left me there. They left me there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just looking like, damn, like this is crazy. Like I really got hit, but like I told you, I felt like I was gonna be okay. I ended up going to sleep. I woke up. The detectives came in there. Police came in there. As soon as they came in there, they was asking me. They was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm just looking like, "How you doing?" I'm fine, And I ain't gonna lie. First thing in my mind, growing up, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna snitch. I ain't talking about nothing. We don't rap. We don't say nothing. You know what I mean? Regardless, ignorant, but still at the same time, they were showing me pictures of the people that got up the Beamer. And I never knew what any of these people looked like, nor did I know what the dude Matt looked like that was beefing with the dude from the jump that said he was going to bring people up there to shoot or said that he was going to kill him. But I never knew what none of these people looked like. Even the dude that shot me, all I seen was his big ass shoulders, and I knew he was a fat dude. So they put up pictures of the fat dude, and I'm just looking like, man, like, they all look like it could potentially be him, but I was just looking like, yo, I don't know. I was like, I don't know who. I don't know. I can't tell you. They was looking like, okay. They was like, all right, you don't know. They was like, all right, we'll go ahead and get well. So I ended up going to sleep again. And then this time when I woke up, it was in a dark room. And it was a lady. It was just that one lady. And it was a desk, and she was sitting at a desk. It was kind of creepy. It was like the movies. It was dark. It was the lady sitting at the desk, and all she had was a lamp at her desk. And I woke up, and it was just nobody else around. You know what I mean? Or it must have been them curtains in the dark areas that I didn't see. But for some reason, I was like out, and I kind of was close where I could say like, "How you doing?" And she was just like, hey, she was like, hey, I can't remember distinctly what the conversation was, but I do remember that I told her I was thirsty. And for some reason, they couldn't give me any water, so she just was giving me ice to chew on. She got up and gave me some ice. I remember that ice was good as a mug. I'm sitting up there eating the ice, laying there, and I'm just resting. I end up going to sleep again, and this time I woke up and I was in a room. And this time I'm in a room, I got the TV right by my bed. The door closed, I wake up, and so that's when I grabbed the remote and I start flicking, and I'm looking for something to watch on TV. And I'm flicking. I end up seeing the goddamn news, and the news had the shooting on there. At the same time when I'm looking for it, I'm looking like, damn. And I'm looking like, damn, I got hit. It showed that Tipper, he got hit. And he got hit in his neck. He got paralyzed from the waist down. Another dude it was two Marcuses that got hit. One Marcus, he got hit in his ankle. I knew him. He was a cool dude. He got hit in his ankle. Another Marcus, he got hit in his shoulder. And they said that I just got hit in my arm, not even knowing that I got hit in my back and in my chest. But yeah, that was wild. And so that happened. You know what I mean? People came up there to see me. They had me on the damn morphine. You know what I mean? They was telling my parents, they was like, yeah, we got to put him on the morphine. And they was like, yeah, hopefully he doesn't get addicted to it. And so I was a little nervous about taking that because I was thinking like, man, I can take the pain. And mind you, when I woke up, my hand was like my whole arm was wrapped up. But I saw my hand, and my hand was swollen like a catcher's mitt. Like this finger was like this big. It was like two fingers. Every finger was like 2. So it was looking like a catcher's mitt. And I'm laying there and I'm like, damn, like my fucking hand is fat and I can't move it. And so, you know what I mean? People came up there to see me. Shouts out to everybody that came up there to see me. You know what I mean? And I had the little button where every time, I think like every hour or so, I could hit it to relieve the pain. I ain't gonna lie. Getting shot don't hurt as much as recovering from getting shot. When your nerve, if you ever had any nerve damage where a body part is completely gone, and then you trying to recuperate that body part with the nerve to get that nerve for the nerve to come back, that joint hurt like a bitch. My whole arm, everything was just on fire. Everything was on fire, and I couldn't even move it, but it was just on fire. You know what I mean? So I'm just constantly hitting this button. Like I just be talking to people and just hitting the button. I would just be hit. They said that I can't overdose on it, so the button would only go and give me the morphine like every hour or so. But I would just be hitting it like every freaking, like whenever. Every time I feel so, I just be like beep, 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 beep. You know what I mean? So I was so goddamn high in that joint. Like people said I was getting up and I had my gown on and my butt was showing as I'm walking to the corner and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Girls from school, dudes from school, you know what I mean? But, you know, everybody was real nice. They, you know, I was messing up. I was banging them snickerdoodle cookies in there. But anyway, so I ended up getting out of that joint and ended up going into, and mind you, let me rewind. Before I got into surgery, they was talking to my parents about what they wanted to do with my arm because my arm supposedly wasn't even going to work anymore. So it was supposed to just be like, like a hanging arm, a dead arm, or they was talking about cutting it off. So my mother was like, definitely don't cut it, do what you can. So they ended up, if you can see this. They ended up taking a vein out of my thigh and they took a piece of that vein and put it in my arm to try to get it to work. Had staples all from right there all the way down to my armpit. You know, took it out of my thigh. So my arm supposedly wasn't supposed to work anymore. But God willing, we just kept our fingers crossed and we was just hoping that God was going to make a miracle as well as those doctors. So anyway, I ended up getting out of the hospital, went to physical therapy. They was giving me like little things I could do to try to get my arm to move. But the only thing that really worked, all I used to do was sit at home on the couch and I used to just curl my hand up and then it would just go like that. It would just come back out again. And I'll curl it back up. I'll be watching TV, curling my hand, trying to make a fist. And I would just try to hold the fist, you know, until like a good, maybe like 4 months. I did it one time and it went like this. And I was like, damn, it's coming back. You know what I mean? And I would try to make another fist and it would just, I'd be like, it's coming back. And then one of them days, my hand was like this and I was like, let me just try to make a fist. And it would go like that. I was like, this right here, that right there was amazing. Cause I couldn't use my arm for like 4 months. Soon as I could go like this, soon as I go like that, I was like, my fingers are moving. They moving. You know, and she was like, yeah. She was like, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I was like, oh my God, they moving. You know, so I really had a lot of high hopes after that. But for some reason, I always felt like God had me and I was going to make it out of that and become a stronger individual. But so after that, you know what I mean, they ended up talking about I had to go to court and everything like that. And I'm telling them, I'm like, please don't let me go to court. I was like, Ma, like I can't be sitting up there on trial and pointing and telling people that this person shot me and that stuff like that. I was like, man, they're gonna look at me like a sucker. I was like, I'm gonna have to fight. I'm gonna have to defend the house and everything. I was like, people gonna be trying to hunt me down. You think I got shot before? I was like, people are gonna try to kill me out here. You know what I mean? And she was just like, well, you gotta go. You gotta go. You know what I mean? The school, they paid for the school, they paid for my medical bill. They was like, they paid for your medical bills. You know what I mean? You gotta go. Just go up there. She was like, you ain't gotta tell on nobody. Just go up there and just tell the truth. I was like, all right. I was like, I didn't see nobody, so I'm gonna go up there and tell the truth. She was like, that's all you gotta do. Just go in there and tell the truth and we can go home. So I'm like, all right. So went in there, court came, you know what I mean? And matter of fact, the only trial I went to was the dude Matthew McCullough's joint. I think everybody else pled guilty. The dude that shot me, he just pled guilty. I think he copped out to like 20 years. Everybody else, I think the driver, he copped out and got like 15. The other dudes, I think they got like 20. I know the dude that shot me, he got like 20. But the dude Matthew McCullough, he tried to fight his case. He went to court, and I went to court, and I was on trial for yo. So the judge, not the judge, his lawyer was like, yeah. So to me, I told everything that I just told y'all. So that's when he got it. Was like, so you don't, the shooter, the person that shot you, you don't see him anywhere in this courtroom. And I'm like, nah. And that's when the whole court, they like, oh. And that's when I looked in the back like, Mom. You know what I mean? And my mother and my grandmother, they're back there, they like, mm-hmm. They like, mm-hmm, you just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. So I'm looking like, no, he ain't in there. They was like, so you mean to tell me that boy right there, that you don't see no shooter in here? The person that shot you, he's not in, he's not sitting in there, right? I'm like, no, he ain't sitting in here. I was like, he didn't do it, you know? And so got off, you know what I mean? I don't know how people felt. People didn't tell me they was mad at me, but they made like an uproar in the court. They like, oh my gosh. And so that's when that was over. And, you know, ever since then, I was just coming back, making a recovery. You know, people used to call me spirit fingers because I used to have my water in the cup and I used to have to dip my fingers in the water because the burning sensation from the recovery was just killing me. You know, I used to like lotion, I used to have to keep my hands moist. And it's like, even to this day, like my whole left side of my body, I gotta keep lotion on my hands. I gotta keep lotion definitely on the left side of my foot. You know, because, and I'm pretty sure that all came from the gunshot and my nerves and everything and the vein coming out of my leg. And so, yeah, and I just ended up making a recovery. So, yeah, you know, everybody want to know, like, you know, people want to know about the gunshot wounds right here. That's what happened. I was 16 years old, 5/7/04. Yeah, and that's when I got shot. Yeah. Twice right there. Once right, God damn it, right there, once right there, yeah, right there, and then once right here, and it went out that shoulder, yeah. So, you know, I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to be here trying to give y'all some good content, trying to show y'all, you know what I mean, you can make it through anything, you can bounce back, you know, if I did it, you can do it. And yeah, if y'all want some more stories and y'all want some stories about when I used to run around being a knucklehead, I'll give you some of them too. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the story of 5/7/04 Ramstown High School shooting. You know what I mean? Peace to y'all.